Our guy who was with us, his name was Mitch Prothello, and he goes around the world as a freelance photographer. And what happens is Mitchell, anywhere there's combat, he gets in there and takes the pictures. I had a pistol I took from an insurgent when we did a raid one day, because I needed extra sidearm. I had this on my side, and I said, Mitch, if we get cornered, get the pistol. He said, man, I got my camera. I was like, all right, whatever. So he never would touch a gun. But he'd take it with these pictures here. What's happening is we got the wall. We had to come back down here because all this rubble. Insurgents would blow the holes in the wall because they knew if we came back down that spot, they could already have an ambush or something set up. And so what I did, because it was just like a long day, I got done firing like all my ammo through that little wall. I was just walking back and I was telling my guys, "Any coke in there?" He's like, "Yeah, I got some cold coke in the thing." So we jumped in there, had soda, and he's like, "What are you doing?" I was like, "I got nothing else to fight with. Those out of my bullets." So like in that little vest, it carries about 400 rounds, and that's the only way your gear gets lighter is as you shoot. You're not just shooting sporadically, but there's just so many. Like this side over here was where the militia attacked us before, and then we were at the wall, and they were shooting there, and that's where me and Kevin ran around with those barriers. Good guy, Raymond Blake and Shane Hazelton. These are my kids, literally. They're good boys, and they listen to everything I said. The problem with doing the wall all the time and putting this in is over here you got all the bad nasties. So the guys who were moving the barriers always had to sling their weapons, and they had to trust who was ever on the security to watch their back. If your security went down, they were open targets. I got hit in the neck, and Blake, our medic, comes out there. She looks at me and she runs away, and then Blake sees that. He comes there. He's a bodybuilder from New York, and Blessing. He just picks me up, took me to the vehicle, and I was like, "You did that?" He's like, "Yeah." That's cool. So these guys always have my back, and no matter what. The day after I got shot, a guy was up here just like, this is the worst job. A sniper was on the roof over here, and he got shot through the abdomen. So 2 days in a row, 2 guys getting shot, kind of brings the morale down. But the funny thing about a good night's sleep after that is everybody just wakes up kind of ticked off and you get more focused. Long stretch of wall in the background is kind of something blown up, and then the foreign parts of the city, as you see them. This was actually an Everton's getting hit by an EFP. Mitch sent a really good photo of that. The thing about our vehicles is they have what they call reactive armor, so if something hits it, blows it back, doesn't really hurt the vehicle. So that's all that stuff going off. Just an open version of, this is all Sadr City, the medium where the wall was kind of like right here at this point, where we're building a wall. This just gives the example of until we could move up with those barriers, how open everything came, and how exposed everyone was. The hardest parts about the fighting were always the road intersections, because this gave the insurgency to fortify buildings on this corner, the other corner, and then the parts south of us. Even though we had the tanks, they were always waiting, and those were always the worst battles ever. At the end of the day, it's kind of like what the city looked at. It wasn't like we were tyrants or going in there and pillaging. It was just the city burned because, for 2 reasons, because there are a lot of bad men who did bad things and don't shower. And the other reason was because many of those buildings were nothing but weapons caches and EFPs and all that good stuff. So they were really hiding out a lot. It's kind of one of those shots. I was up here shooting, going back to reload ammo, or Kevin was again. Got all our ammo on the ground, and the commander jumped up. So anytime there were people just taking fire, you just had to either rely on the cover of the wall or this little part of the crane here to be your protection. It's myself and the commander. This guy was up here shooting this thing. It was a miracle. Rocket came down, landed about right there in smoke. It's like, "You know what saved us?" He's like, "What?" I was like, "My good looks." He's like, "Shut up." Captain Alan Boyce, he was the guy in the video. AJ he was a young captain. He was a good guy though. He always had that, like he played a lot of Halo on the Xbox, and he was always doing stuff like that, and it worked sometimes. So good dude. Just more shots of the wall and the crane, and Mitch, our photographer, and all this crap. So it's So, okay, close quarter fighting got really bad when we were putting in the various labs that got blown up, because a lot of times we'd have to go up here. I remember this particular incident because this was one that, as soon as we jumped up, me and this other guy right here, and the guy was climbing the wall, the insurgents immediately shot a rocket. This guy fall back, and then we were just still like, oh. The worst thing about getting hit and it not hitting you is all this dust and all this stuff comes up in your eyes and you're sweating, and it's like you're blind. It's just not cool. So one of the vehicles that was always out there with us, this was, a guy was in this building, and he was calling in our positions over the wall, because we were right here building this. This was, thank God for the pilots being so accurate, because what happened was, when we had to call in the missile to go, the Hellfire missile is a precision-guided weapon, which you can literally, the Apache helicopter will target inside the window of a building, wherever it may be, and it'll go inside the room, explode, done. So this guy shoots, it goes in here, and for like 2 seconds it rained building on us. So it's like, you know, seeing a lot of rain, acid rain, snow, all this building. It was kind of cool. So we got the job done. This was, got a lot of trouble for this. All right, in the Army, they always have this big standard of uniform. You got to wear the glasses and these gloves and everything. Well, since I was with the regular Army, I knew a couple of things. One, in that type of heat, in 165-degree weather, let's say 145 degrees mean air temperature down there with the wall and the concrete, it gets a lot hotter. So what happened was I took the glasses off because they fog up and you can't see. The gloves, when you shoot and you're doing an all-day combat operation, you need to cut the fingers off because at night you need to see with what you're feeling. So as I did that, I bitch snapped this, I went to Newsweek, and then the commander gets a call from so-and-so, why is he displaying blah, blah. It's like Farina, leave him alone. It's okay. So I got the word out, and then you know, a lot of people started talking about that. I was like, okay, so we're back to that. That's kind of the, all right, so